not a single actor that works at Dhar Mann Studios can afford rent.
I started with Dhar Mann 4 to 5 years ago, as many of you know. Fast forward to now, all we were asking for is a meeting. A simple meeting to just sit down and hear both sides out and find a better solution. That hasn't happened.
January 2026, the NFL invents a job that is so ridiculous that you'd probably think a child thought of it. Nope. It's the title of Chief Kindness Officer, and it was given to a YouTuber of all people. The actual job description consists of finding a way to make people a little less mean to one another on Super Bowl Sunday. The YouTuber chosen is a convicted felon for 13 counts of fraud. Supposedly, not a single actor on his channel can afford rent or food. This is Dhar Mann. He runs one of the biggest channels on the internet, and nearly every video teaches the same thing. Karma's a bitch, and it will come to bite you in the ass, so you should treat people well and avoid cheating and lying. This concept had been beaten to death on his channel thousands of times. He is the wrong person to be spreading that message.
Hey, Paco. You guys stealing my lemons?
My name is Juan.
Whatever. You guys cannot be taking these. And look at this. Your shirt is full of my lemons. You filled up all your pockets.
Okay. And what is the problem?
What's the problem?
All Dhar Mann videos look about the same. There's a person who's usually entitled and rude to the other characters, and there's usually a character who's either in a bad position or just a rough spot in life. The successful guy is mean to the bum. Then the bum turns out to be someone even more successful than the guy, and they get taught a lesson. The guy gets humbled, and there's a lesson that takes up the whole screen. Be kind or some vague bullshit. Then the credits roll. It's a glorified kids show with random actors and an engineered thumbnail. There's a broad moral that's printed in all capitals so that no one misses it. There is never any sort of gray area whatsoever because I guess that's just not what gets millions of views. The way that his videos scaled is unlike anything else I've ever seen. He has 27 million subscribers as of this recording and over 160 million combined followers across all his platforms. Forbes ranked him at number 2 on the site. Not one video released in 2025 got under 2 million views. The empire is run out of a 125,000 square foot studio in Burbank and has around 200 staff members. There are 8 crews shooting at any given moment and roughly 2,000 actors cycled per year. So Dhar is the face of the content, but makes no meaningful appearance in any of it. His channel is a factory with subpar morals as the product. I do have to give him credit since this product is at least legal, but it definitely begs the question though, who the hell is this guy?
I need my inheritance money so bad. I'm so sorry it had to end this way.
His full name is Dharminder Man. Long before the morals, he was an entrepreneur and a relentless one. He started a real estate company at 19. Over the next decade, he launched a mortgage refinance company, a luxury car rental firm, and a handful of other companies. Unlike his current position, his early endeavors were almost all complete failures. The only reason he was an entrepreneur to begin with was that his family ran the biggest taxi company in Oakland and donated to politicians generously. That means when Dhar wanted to make something, there was no real risk for him.
And I was like, you're telling me it's legal to grow weed in California? And he says yes, and then there's a big light bulb went out.
I didn't do this.
Exactly. That's when the opportunist in me sort of kicks in and says, you know what? This is gonna be my path. Like, there's a huge opportunity here.
2010, he finally lands a hit, a company called We Grow, basically a hardware store for growing weed. Back when medical marijuana was the new gold rush, he branded himself a ganjapreneur, which is just as corny as it sounds, and Mother Jones put him on the cover. For a minute, he was the face of legal weed. Then it collapsed within 2 years. It consisted of lawsuits between Dhar and his business partner. The partner alleged shady dealings. Dhar's side said the partner invented it all out of spite. Dhar countersued and walked off with a settlement, but no one really won. The lawsuit isn't the part that matters though. What actually matters is what the city of Oakland was quietly figuring out about his real estate company while it was all unfolding.
So you see, Your Honor, it's without question that this defendant did these crimes.
No, that's impossible. I wasn't in Philly when it happened. I was in LA at a Dodgers game.
He's lying. You can tell by looking at him.
Oakland was running a program to fix up rundown buildings. The idea was a private person could do the work, submit the paperwork, and then be paid out of a public grant fund. The grant was set aside to help the city look less shitty. In 2008 and 2009, Dhar's real estate company, Man Edge Properties, taps into the fund. According to prosecutors, the paperwork he submitted to collect the public money was falsified. He took money set aside to help his community for his own personal interests by submitting falsified paperwork. Sounds like a real moral role model if you ask me. 2012, the Alameda County District Attorney charges him with 13 felony counts of fraud. Quick legal footnote, in 2013 it was dropped to 5 counts, and Dhar pled no contest. No contest isn't the same as guilty, but you accept the conviction. So according to court records, he was convicted of 5 counts of fraud. He was made to stay on probation for 5 years, pay $10,000, and repay over $44,000 that he owed. As a nice bonus, he was sued by the city in civil court for a few $100,000 more. That same guy released a video titled "Greedy Boss Cheats His Customers. What Happens Next is Shocking" in 2022. The guy who stole from his entire community now makes videos about basic moral concepts which he clearly has no grasp of. He's literally the perfect case study for his own videos, but I digress. Who knows, maybe his own life inspired the villains of his stories. To his credit, he doesn't fully hide it. He's brought it up in the past in interviews. He told the New York Times that the conviction was later expunged or wiped clean from his record. I haven't seen proof of that, so I can't say for sure, but what I will say is that the one time karma was coming to bite him, he got off scot-free. That literally goes directly against every single video he's ever made. If you're enjoying this video so far and you want to see more like it in the future, like, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications. It would help a shit ton. Thank you.
Sometimes it takes being dark to see the light. And it took me those 4 years of stopping, not doing anything, really trying to become the person that I needed to be to succeed in order to get to the point of creating this inspirational content.
Okay. Back to the 2010s. In 2015, he started Live Glam, a makeup subscription service, and he actually made it work somewhat. Then, on his birthday in 2018, he launched Dhar Mann Studios. The videos are painfully generic motivation, believe in yourself, stick to the grind, etc. It did terribly, so he decided to rebrand it with shocking titles. This is exactly where his formula originated. This was the smartest choice Dhar Mann has probably ever made. Almost every industry you could think of was a failure of his, in large part because he wasn't a good person, but for some reason, him telling other people to be good people is finally what brought him some success. The man who pled no contest to defrauding his community became the most watched moral authority on the internet within just a couple of years.
Hey Dhar Mann fam, so you see we're standing here in our brand new studio where we're currently building out all of our new film sets that we're going to be recording in. And recently I told you guys I was going to give you a behind the scenes tour of our studio, so I want to just give you a quick glimpse at our very first set that just completed construction.
These videos are a large production and they don't produce themselves. Behind every single one is a rotation of actors. Specific actors are usually cast for certain roles such as a nice teacher or a wronged employee. The rest are brought in gig by gig in the thousands every year. Some were genuine regulars in dozens of the productions with real credits outside the channel, including Better Call Saul. These were the stars of the Kindness Empire and the people actually giving you the lessons through the screen. Fast forward to 2023. Several of them claim the set looked nothing like the videos.
Controversy has arisen over the treatment of employees by popular YouTube creator Dhar Mann. Some actors, who they clarified as being contractors, not full employees, affiliated with his production company Dhar Mann Studios, they've taken to TikTok to express their grievances with the studio, including low pay and mistreatment by management. Now, despite his international success as a YouTuber and entrepreneur who posts 4 weekly short films on moral issues, Dhar Mann was reportedly unresponsive to actors' requests for a meeting. As a result, some actors who spoke out were even terminated, and this caused an uproar on social media.
February of 2023, a group of his own actors starts a protest. They coined the hashtag #ProtestDharMann, and Colin Borden says on camera that not a single actor can afford rent.
Not a single actor that works at Dhar Mann Studios can afford rent. This is a show that has millions of views across multiple social media platforms. Videos are shot, edited, posted, repackaged as new videos, reposted in other places over and over and over and over and over again, racking in millions of views, ad revenue, all this sort of stuff. The studio has continued to expand for some time. My entire tenure there, when I first started, we shot everything, as I've told you guys on lives and things like that. We shot everything in an apartment building downtown, in an apartment, not even the building. And now there are 3 sound stages in Burbank. But things haven't really gotten better for us.
Dhar was pissed. All of this was alleged, just as a quick reminder. Here's what they alleged. They were paid pennies compared to the success the channel had garnered. They were classified as contractors that only came in time to time.
I am just a contract player. I have no employment there. I am just sort of called every now and then, as are all the other actors. And it just is not sustainable.
There was no security. They were running low on food and water during shoots. They were asked to show up to public events for free, and everyone, including children, were working 10-hour days. Anyone who questioned it would mysteriously stop getting booked.
I had a bad allergic reaction, so when I came to set, the director noticed that I was a little off. Everything was off about me. I was not feeling too well, but I still wanted to work because I knew what could happen to me if I didn't finish these scenes. I felt that I was going to be fired, and I told them that, and I was crying and everything, and Shantae told me that, oh, nothing's going to happen, it's going to be okay, he isn't going to fire you or anything. But after that, I was never hired back again. I contacted Dhar Mann for over 13 months. I DM'd, I called, I sent emails, and I never got a response from Dhar Mann. Dhar Mann, the only thing that I can think of that I did wrong was shutting down production due to my medical condition. This really did hurt me a lot because I trusted you, Dhar Mann, and I built a really good bond and relationship with all of the cast and crew members.
They also claimed they couldn't even get a meeting, that when they brought the concerns to Dhar directly, the door stayed shut, and the people who spoke up got cut out.
All we were asking for is a meeting, a simple meeting to just sit down and hear both sides out and find a better solution to move forward. That hasn't happened. There were many attempts to get a meeting, but they were all denied, which is why this protest began in the first place. Now, I don't wish Dhar Mann any harm at all. I just wish he had heard us from the beginning.
After they went public, they alleged the studio ran a smear campaign against them. What better place to look in a situation like this than his own videos? He has an endless catalog about this exact type of situation. Evil bosses who underpay their workers is a main staple of his channel. The difference being they actually learn some sort of lesson and have some type of reason to stop their behavior and correct it. When all his actors marched outside his building, they held up signs with his own titles on them, which is pretty hilarious. They didn't even need to come up with something new, they just used his original lines.
Dhar Mann has finally responded to all of his recent controversy, but before we get into that, let me just quickly brief you on what all has happened so far. First, many recognizable Dhar Mann actors were seen protesting outside of Dhar Mann studios. They were protesting because they claimed that Dhar Mann doesn't treat them well or pay them enough. There's also some other claims, but we'll get into that later when we go over Dhar Mann's response. Along with protesting, many of the actors have taken to TikTok and other social media to call out Dhar Mann for his alleged mistreatment and hypocrisy. Now that everyone is caught up, let's get into Dhar Mann's response.
February 14th, 2023, Dhar posts a full response. He calls the low pay claim, quote, 100% not true. He says the studio pays between $33 and $44 an hour for speaking roles. He then claims that he's never heard any requests to meet him and that he connected with the actors afterwards. The spokesman of his own studio denied every allegation systematically. A lot of regulars actually came to his defense. Catherine Norland put out videos saying she had a good experience. Dhar posted a clip of him with a bunch of actors surrounding him with We Are Family playing in the background. Contractor pay disputes happen all over Hollywood, and gig actor wishes the gig paid more is not automatically a scandal. That's not really the overarching issue though. The literal faces of kindness that had been on his team for years stood outside of his building alleging they were in fear against the company that makes videos about treating people correctly. When he denied it, they continued to insist. Even if both sides were at fault, which I really don't know for certain, this is a really strange company for this all to be happening under.
You see, Dhar Mann fam, real kindness is this face. Dhar Mann is so kind that he has even accepted a formal position at the NFL to be an officer of kindness. That's right, we can all rest a little easier knowing that Dhar Mann is the NFL's first Chief Kindness Officer.
Alright, let's get into the NFL situation. This shit is insane. On January 29th of this year, Dhar Mann was named the first ever Chief Kindness Officer and Creator of the Week for the Super Bowl. Be Kind to Your Rival is the name of his first campaign.
Be Kind to Your Rival challenge, where you have to say something nice about someone who you haven't always seen eye to eye with. And for every person that participates, I'm going to be donating $10 to help kids at St. Jude.
Fans were meant to post something nice about the other team, hashtag it kindness wins big, and for every one, Dhar would donate $1 to St. Jude's, up to $100,000. That's a nice thing to do, and I can't say anything bad about that. Here's the problem. NFL fans clocked it immediately. One of the most well-known football accounts straight up called him a career con artist and asked how he'd weaseled his way into the NFL. People who had never seen him and never seen any of the morality videos learned very quickly that he was a felon. At the end of 2025, weeks before the announcement, the studio had another wave of underpaid actors. Fast forward a couple of months, and it is now home to the chief kindness officer of the NFL. In his videos, the con artist gets exposed and is forced to face the repercussions of his actions. They're usually humbled publicly. In the real con artist's life, his crime was supposedly expunged, and the multiple phases of underpaid actors complaining just disappeared. And as if that weren't insane enough already, he became the chief kindness officer of the NFL. For a guy who has made tens of millions of dollars teaching people about karma, he has never gotten any of it himself.
Joining us right now is Dhar Mann. He's the founder of Dhar Mann Studios. He was named #2 on Forbes' top creators list for 2025. He makes short, dramatic videos on YouTube that teach life lessons, often ending with a positive or emotional twist. We're also joined by Sean Atkins. He's the CEO of Dhar Mann Studios and the former president of MTV. And gentlemen, welcome to both of you. It's great to see you. Dhar, I want to just talk about what you've built, because it's pretty phenomenal. Coming from 2018, doing these scripted videos that you were doing, I think, in your apartment, using your apartment as the sound stage and setup for all of these things, to now having this giant studio that takes up a huge amount of space and knocking out videos that I think are bringing in something like 10 billion plus views a year across all these platforms. How did you do that?
In fairness, the felony convictions were over a decade ago, and he hasn't gone on some tirade to cover them up. People can definitely change, and he is open about having a rough past. He built the second largest media company from nothing. His videos are at least not harmful in themselves, and some of them really do have nice morals. The majority of the people affected were kids who absorbed it mindlessly. However, you can't just plead no contest to stealing from your community, be accused by your own actors of being worse than the bosses in the videos, and then get a trophy and a pay raise without anyone taking a second look. His whole catalog runs on one promise: that bad behavior will catch up with you, that the universe will keep score, and that the jerk will learn his lesson by the last frame. He has filmed that promise thousands of times. As of today, he's 41. He has a felony fraud record, an actor protest with his own titles on the picket signs, and an official kindness award from the NFL. In every story he tells, the bad guy learns the lesson by the end. He's the only character that's never had to, and I don't know if he ever will.
You got it. Is there another shirt? What? You think you shopping at Big and Tall? That's the only size we got. Yo, it looks like Barney the dinosaur. Look at it. Oh, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Oh, man. Are we gonna play or what? All right, all right.
Offense, guys, let's go. Offense, offense, offense.
I told you not to pick him. He'll never be good at anything in life. He's too